We'll start the second technical session now. It's on challenges of food and agri supply chain. Can I request all the speakers to be on the dais, please? Dr. Venkata Reddy TN, retired professor, Department of Agricultural Marketing, Cooperation and Business Management, University of Agricultural Sciences. Dr. V. Ramesh, Managing Director, Global Delight Agro Foods. Dr. K. M. Harini Kumar, Professor and Head, Department of Plant Biology, Plant Biotechnology, Coordinator ASD, UAS Bangalore, and Dr. D. V. Chidanand, Head, Industry and Academia Cell, NIFTM, Tanjavur. This session is going to be moderated by Dr. K. M. Harini Kumar.
Particularly Tech Bharat, office bearers and also volunteers and all the team. Thank you for giving the opportunity to speak today's on challenges of food and agri supply chains. And my beloved students, it is a burning topic today to farmers. I also have a lot of problems when I was a farmer during my education. As a son of farmer, I am doing the farming since 8th standard. So there was a lot of problem when I grow the vegetables, when I grow the paddy or sugarcane for jaggery making, for everything I had a problems. And today, most of the farmers going away from the agriculture only because of the reason is marketing. They grow wonderful crop, they'll get a good yield, but not able to do the marketing. That was the main challenges. The topic is, I think the challenges can be solved only by you, the students. Agri student can easily solve the problem of marketing. The marketing linkage has a lot of scope for you, and there's a lot of margin also. There are a lot of middlemen involved in the produce to marketing. In today's talk is and my beloved teacher, mentor, a good human being, our beloved teacher, Dr. Venkata sir is here. Sir is going to talk to very nicely about the marketing system. And sir is now retired professor and emeritus also is working at, earlier he was working at marketing division. And he is a keynote speaker in most of the events. I have seen, I think, online events in entire South India. This sir is a keynote speaker in the entire South India. He is the man, I think, I have done a lot of work on marketing, particularly in mango. And I would like to also introduce Dr. V. Ramesh, a managing partner, and he is also visiting professor for so many academic institutes with respect to the marketing system, particularly Global Delight Agro Foods. He is working on export of producers. He also worked with us to conduct online seminar during the COVID pandemic in collaboration with alumni associations. And another, Dr. Chidanand, I'm very happy to introduce his alumni of here. We have grown up very well in the market, particularly food system, in the marketing and linkages. Chidanand is with us and he is going to deliver a good talk on that. And now I request the Dr. Venkata sir to please deliver the lecture on these challenges of food and agri supply.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this post-lunch session. I hope you had a good lunch and you have good auditorium and good AC too. Make use of that, don't make use of that. Okay. It is topic for panel discussion is challenges of food and agri supply chain. Everything is a challenge in agriculture. Everything is a challenge, not only the supply chain, but one thing is certain. If you look at the Indian agriculture or global agriculture, no depth for raw material. In fact, it is problem of plenty in the whole world. Raw material is available in plenty. So no depth for raw material, no depth for finance. Banks are waiting to invite you to avail the loan. target is 17 lakhs crores to the commercial banks to compulsorily lend to agri sector. And technology, it is available anywhere in the world. You can access that technology. Only thing is you need to pay for this. Trained manpower, PhDs are there, whether in food technology, biotechnology or anything, waiting for the job for the last 5 years. No job. Means you have technology, you have raw material, you have finance, everything is there. But lacking is entrepreneurship and enterprising. Entrepreneurship is lacking. In this background, if you talk about challenges in food and agri supply chain, of course my friend Mr. Dr. Chidanand from NIFTEM, Tanjavur, he will speak more about this. The logistic part is so pathetic. 30 to 40% of the perishables are wasted in the supply chain. If whoever can reduce this by 10%, their profit will rise by 10%. If somebody can reduce this waste in the supply chain by 20%, they can definitely increase their profits by another 20%. Similarly, the quality of logistics are so bad, exceptions are there, like milk and coffee and standard commodities. The logistics are so bad, even corporate companies are at receiving end, particularly accredited warehouses, transportation, storage, packing, lot many things. And in this background, fortunately, Government of India opening floodgates for investors, startups to enter into the agri-business, brought in market reforms, allowing the private investment, adoption of technology, movement of products from India to rest of the country. Unfortunately, politics rolled over the policy. The same government which introduced took it back. On the other hand, Food Corporation of India don't have godowns to store food grains. Cold chain is not there except cold storages. And the best example we can draw how bad our supply chain is. A product is there, produced around 80 kilometers from Bangalore. It moves to Bangalore. It's sold at 30 to 35 rupees for 1 unit. It is purchased at 10 to 12 rupees. And just 80 kilometers transportation. The producer will get 12 rupees. The consumer will pay 36 rupees. Post-harvest handling losses is almost nil, we can say less than 1%. And it's tender coconut from Madhur to Bangalore. Share of the stakeholders in the supply chain is around 65%. And share of the producer is 35%. This speaks of the poor state of affairs in the agri supply chain. Added to this, government policies towards say agricultural products, particularly value added, packed, branded products. GST is the biggest obstacle. For generic product, no GST. The moment you add value to this packet, it adds to that. This is the major drawback in the trade and commerce of food products. See, gold attracts only 3% GST and ice cream 18%. You can see where the priorities are there. gold or ice cream or any value-added products of the food price. And the government, role of government is very, very limited in this supply chain. What government thinks is, if they encourage production, that is the end of it. In fact, the agri supply chain, in the agri supply chain, production is only one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is the harvesting, cleaning, grading, packing, storage, transportation, processing, value addition, distribution, advertisement, branding. Just you. It is only a tip of the ice. Production is only a tip of the iceberg in the supply chain. Look at the commodities. It is most disintegrated supply chain is there for agricultural commodities. Somebody produces. You don't know who is the final user, who is the consumer, where it goes, or how much price it is sold. He only knows the commission agent who buys from him. Disintegrated, very rare examples like integrated supply chain, like Tata Coffee, starting from coffee estates till the Tata Starbucks, whole thing is integrated, owned by a company. Or similarly, ABC Cafe Coffee Day. A rare examples, but you come to fruits and vegetables, though little efforts are there where corporate companies are coming forward to invest and streamline. Lot of achievements need to be done in this area. So, if there is a gap, there is a vacuum, there is a scope. For entrepreneur startups, it is sunrise sector. In fact, a company is like Adani and others. They want to invest 20,000 crores in accredited warehouses. And say online trading of agricultural commodities through e-NAM and other electronic platforms is order of the day, e-tendering or e-trading. All this needs the entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs who can enter, invest, supplement. Whether it is a BE electronics engineer or a food technologist is immaterial. And even data analytics of agriculture commodities information plays a major role for purchasing, futures trading. Sky is the limit. So keeping all this in view, the future of agribusiness and agriculture lies with the integrated supply chain. Identifying the need for such integrated initiatives, we are thankful to the government of Karnataka Finance Minister. Yesterday, he has announced the establishment of Directorate of Secondary Agriculture. Directorate of Secondary Agriculture. All of us speaks of primary agriculture, where concentrated in production. As I have already indicated, everything after production is secondary agriculture, branding till the retailing. So, if you look at the exports, lot of scope is there. And once our former Prime Minister, who was an economist, indicated, India can become food factory of the world only by strengthening the supply chain. And it is only a dream. And to become dream to the reality, youngsters like you, where 74% of the Indian population is younger population, less than 40 years of age. So 74% of the population, less than 40 years of age, look at business, not for wage employment. And agriculture is one sector where it is evergreen. Your software may fail, your service sector may spoil, tourism may be abandoned, but agriculture will remain as evergreen as long as these human beings alive on this earth. The best example is coronavirus period. every sector was affected. Similarly, agriculture too, but only for fortnight. Within 15 days, the supply chain was restored and the growth rate of agriculture was increased during Corona period. Anything can wait except your stomach. So, the need for agriculture and the supply chain. And as a result, the contribution of agriculture to the GDP jumped from 14% to 17% during this last 1 year. The reason is other two sectors, there was a negative growth rate and agriculture positive growth rate for the first time and it crossed 5%. This speaks of scope for the startups, entrepreneurs and the role of digital marketing, digital application in agriculture in the supply chain. So with these comments, I will pass on to my fellow speakers for more discussion on this. Thank you very much to Kumar and CEOs for giving me the opportunity to share few issues. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, sir. Sir has given a good idea. During the interaction, you asked a lot of questions. I hope students will interact very nicely today. Interactions. Now I request Dr. Ramesh sir to deliver the talk.
Good afternoon, everyone. Challenges of food and agri supply chains. It is a topic of ocean where we can discuss from dawn to dusk. And the opening remarks given by Dr. Hardik Kumar sir, as well as the first speaker of today, Dr. Venkat Reddy sir, they have started with the good remarks, starting from the agriculture, from the sowing of the seeds or from the selection of the seeds, till the post-harvesting and then challenges followed by the retailing and still it reaches to the consumers. He has given a very good explanation on that one. What are the challenges in every step and what is that there are opportunities existing. See, it's a beautiful topic, challenges of food and agri supply chains. There are two things it is involved. One is that the challenges of food. It means that how do you ensure the continuity of the food. And second thing is agri supply chains. Whenever there are challenges, there are also opportunities. It is for us to see that how do we convert challenge into an opportunity. So when it says for that opportunity, there lies entrepreneurship. And for the youngsters, there are two segments you can look into. With your academics, knowledge, wisdom, and the universities or like big universities like UAS, how do you convert a challenge of society into an opportunity for an enterprising? That is one aspect. And the second aspect is, anyone who wants to pursue their higher education in researching in the challenges, come out with the solutions in your research. Probably you take up any one challenge of the sector, what it is facing today, come with the solutions, integrate with yourself with the enterprises or the corporates, implement your solution and see that the society gets the solution for the challenges what they are facing. So these are the two segments what you can look upon. In today, we have an agenda where we are going to discuss upon Today's agenda we are going to discuss upon, just give an indication on what is agri supply chain. And we are going to take this entire topic in two segments. One is on the domestic segment, that is in India. At India level, what are the challenges and what are the prospects for the agri supply chains? And we also see it at a global level. In global level, what are the challenges we face, India as a nation, and then what are the prospects to overcome those challenges. And we also see a role of modern technology in agriculture. Okay, so coming into the agriculture, to give an idea, we'll just take an example of a small one. There's a farmer who produces the produce in his field. The consolidator is one who collects all the farms from these different scenarios, maybe from X place, Y place and Z place, and it goes to a trader, and in the local mandis it goes to a commission agent. From there it goes to a wholesaler, and there are 5 or 6 retailers who approaches the wholesalers, they produce the markets in a lesser quantity, then it goes to the consumer. So in the entire supply chain, in the next slide I'm going to see what are the flows we have got, what the information flows, product flows, financial flows, and the product recalls. You see, this is sector like how Dr. Venkatreddy sir has just mentioned now, it is an highly unorganized sector, fragmented, that means it works in bits and pieces, inefficient supply chains we have got, and the high transaction cost, the transportation, and the low processing or poor food safety concerns. That means the hygiene conditions, we are not in par with the global scenarios. So these are some of the challenges what we have got the agri supply chains in India. Going forward, we will see that how the flow works. Here in this slide, if you see, agriculture supply chain has got 5 flows. One is on the material flow. The material flow or the produce flow that happens from farmers to the agri and food industry, then to the wholesaler, and the chain continues till the consumers through retailer. Then the information flow can happen in both the directions. That is, from the farmer it goes to the agri producer and to the wholesaler, or from the wholesaler to the agri producer asking for what is the required quantity he needs for the next 1 year or 6 months or 1 month. Then you have a financial flow that flows in the reversal direction. Consumer pays to the retailer, retailer pays to the wholesaler, wholesaler to the agri, and finally it reaches the farmer. And there is a value flow and a risk flow. These are the 5 flows in agri producers. If you look into any of the agri fresh producers we produce. Okay, in this flow, sometimes there is a product recall. In India it rarely happens, but if you look into the US or European market, if the end consumer complains of certain things, that a product what he purchased is of not good quality or the requirements is not matching to their standards, something like that, the company calls for the recalls. That rarely happens in India, but in Europe it's quite often. For example, Cadbury chocolates, Nestle's or any of those products. It goes from consumers to the retailers and to the wholesalers. So how do we retrieve the products which has been already circulated into the market, which is in a mass production for FMCG goods or for the agri producers? We are going to see how technology is going to help them out in recalling the producers. So any supply chain has got 5 flows. One farmers, there's a material flow, information flow, financial flow, value flow, and risk flow. Risk is always associated between any 2 segments or to the entire supply chains. Risk can be mitigated when you have the information flow which can help you to reduce risk to a certain extent. Then challenges in Indian agri supply chain. Infrastructure. Nowadays, for the last 5 to 10 years, we are seeing that a good network of roads, rails connectivity has been happening, but we need still more. When we compare ourselves, India, with the other nations, other developed nations of the globe, we see a lot of gap in that one. So road networks help you to take the producers at a faster pace in a quick transportation from producer to the grower, from grower to the consumer or to the wholesaler. Like warehouses and cold storages. In the last 20 years, government has come up with a private partner, public and private partnership warehouses where cold storages are being built, but still for the kind of nation, the big nation we have got, it is inadequate. I would say more such kind of warehouses and cold storages should be brought in every cluster of the mandis or the RMCs or the APMCs, where a farmer can store his excess produce and then can sell it at when his favorable markets arrives. Unorganized logistics. If you see the reefer logistics or the reefer containers or the air-conditioned vehicles, only on the corporate sector it is happening, and government sector very, very minimal. Any agri-fresh produce is a perishable with respect to time. And if it doesn't refrigerate it at the right ambient temperature, it gets spoiled by the time it reaches the consumer. In other words, the value of the produce comes down, or it becomes a wastage to the product. Then we have lack of system integration. Many farmers are even 60 to 65% of the total farmer community, they are having to less than 2 acres of land. That means they are doing agriculture practices in a very bits and pieces. In which case, the produce what they produce is not big enough for them to go for a bigger mandis or to export the commodities. So what happens when they do a farming in the fragmentation, their input costs are more, whereas the incomes what they get from the selling of the produces is less. And it so happens that when they face with the labor charges, the transportation charges, or when there is any climatic conditions, worthiness like heavy rainfalls, floods, or any of those things. So these are all the high risks the farmer which entices when he's producing the produces, and finally when he takes to the markets, he'll not get the fair price or the value for the produce what he has produced in his fields. We also look at the pain areas like a middleman dominated market. Even today, though government of India has come up with many schemes, policies, but still in many of the rural segments, we see that it is an agency or the middleman who is in between producer and consumer. In the last example, sir said 12 rupees is the cost of a tender coconut, but in Bangalore I don't see anybody gets for 15 rupees or 20 rupees. The minimum what you get at tender coconut is 30 rupees. Just imagine a farmer has taken all of his efforts for 1 year to get one coconut tender. A middleman just exchanges between a grower and a consumer. He makes more than what the farmer makes. So this is something, it's a very bothersome kind of thing, wherein with less effort or with no effort, middleman is taking away the profit what a farmer is supposed to get, in which case a farmer is putting all his efforts, but his produce value is not improving, taken away by the middlemen, and at the same time consumer is also paying high value for the producers for what he is getting. So this middleman should be avoided, and we have to form, there are many government policies that has come up how we can eliminate the middleman scopes, like small self-help groups are coming up, then farmer producing organizations are coming up. Many of such organizations has to be encouraged so that collective farmers can come together, sell their produces collectively to a consumer, or they can sell at a better prices in any of the RMCs or government regulated mandis. So we also have prospects in agri supply chain. So these are some challenges. Now, how do we overcome those challenges? What are the ways how we can overcome? One is on the encouraging of 3PL, that is nothing but third-party logistics. See, many farmers or every farmer believes that a state government or the central government should do something for their producers or for the farmers community. But farmer community is so huge and so big in India that government alone cannot do all the things. So that's where the corporate sector comes into picture. Through third-party logistics, we can get the reefers or the air-conditioned containers which can help the movement of the material or the producers from a field to the supermarkets or to the retail chains. And the combination of private-public partnership should be encouraged in constructing mini warehouses or mini cold storages at multiple locations. See, constructing one large warehouse at the district headquarters doesn't suffice the need of the taluks. The warehouses or the logistic support and also these cold storage facilities should also be given at the taluk levels, maybe a small one, but it should be provided so that whatever in those local communities the farmers are producing need not take all the effort in taking their produce from their taluks to the district headquarters or to the state capital. See, constructing huge long warehouses, cold storages in district capital and not having any warehouses in where it is being farm is being produced, then there is no point in that one. So my suggestion is that through private public partnership at multiple locations, many warehouses or cold storages should be established. That will be of a good help for the farmer community to safeguard their produces during climatic conditions, or when the market is not favoring for their producers at not getting the right value for their producers, they can store their materials in cold storages, and whenever there is a demand for the material, they can sell at appropriate prices. Then a skill or training institutions. Now we have seen for the last 5 to 6 years, Government of India as well as the respective state governments have given lot of importance on skill development. Even universities like the University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore, and many other universities who are conducting training programs to empower farmers and also give educational awarenesses on scientific method of cultivation and agri farming. And this is also one such forum where you're getting awareness and the knowledge on how technologies and other things can be utilized in agriculture. In the future slide, we are going to see what is the role of modern technologies in agricultural practices. Then Skill India, skill development programs, got lot of government initiatives are happening where people, farmers are get trained at the village levels itself, need not to travel all the way, they can get trained. Potential resource person goes to their respective villages, trains them, helps them, give the extension jobs, and also makes them aware on what are the scientific methods of cultivation so that they can increase the productivity efficiency. And strengthening the information system technology. We have got a one separate slide on that one, how technology can be used, application of technology can be used in agri sector for the betterment. And then government policies. Every 1 year or 2 years, we are seeing that government is coming up with the new policies to help the farmer community. But still, if you look into, from the time the independence have come to India until today, there are a number of policies governments have framed, either it could be state government policies or with the central government policies. But it is very unfortunate to see that the policies look very rosy on papers, but many of them are failing at the implementation level. So this is one thing where the people who do a policy framings also should see that what is the ground reality and how it can be implemented seamlessly. Because for framing each policy, you look into the parliament houses, crores of rupees money is spent on the time and the duration in making of the policies. And if the policies are not benefiting the beneficiaries, that is the farmers, whatever the time and effort and money is spent on framing policies is failing. So we need to see that. And second thing is, whatever the policies governments are bringing up, whatever the schemes governments are bringing up, that is also should be utilized by the farmers. There are many schemes which are going underutilized. So it is also a forum where we need to see that what are the policies government is framing, what are the schemes somebody can entitle that one, how that schemes can be utilized either at the farmer level or at the self-help groups or farmer producing organizations to ensure that whatever the benefits they are supposed to get, they get those benefits. Wherever subsidy is possible, let them utilize those subsidies. That's all meant for Government of India, because to help the livelihood, improve the livelihood of the farmers. Okay, this has to be rooted to the farmers at a ground root level so that everybody knows what schemes they are entitled for and what benefits they can get. Now, if you see the challenges in global agriculture, meeting international regulations. Every 4 years or 5 years, European Union, they increase their bar of standards. A person who is exporting agri produces from India, they are being able to do it for certain level. All of a sudden, after 2 years or 3 years, you see that Europe has increased their standards or regulations. Either it could be pesticides residuals, or it could be meeting of the any chemical residues or any treatments of the producers, anything. Likewise, now if you see for the last 2 years, we did not had any opportunity to export mangoes from India to US because of COVID situation. Now the US has opened the window for the mango export from India. Since mango season is coming up, so I'm just giving you some points as an example. See, India has got the highest number of mango varieties. More than 1,000 varieties of mangoes are available in India alone. And for your information, India is the #1 leading producer, consumer and exporter of mangoes in the entire world. This is something we all should be proud of. Nearly 44% of the total production of world mangoes is being produced in India. And what is our export rates? What is our export rates? We are not meeting even 15%. Why? Because the quality of the mangoes what you are producing is with the chemicals and the pesticides that is not meeting the regulations of the European Union. If you see pesticidal residues, parts per million, our mangoes are not able to meet because our farmers are spraying chemicals, pesticides and all. See, this is the time where India should go for organic natural farming. Even our Prime Minister Modi ji has been enlightening more on that one. Go for integrated farming, be close to the nature, go for natural and organic farming. The produce with the pesticides what you sell in the market at 100 rupees, with the organic you can sell at 150 rupees. Europeans and US and Australia are willing to pay higher premium money for the organically produced one. They don't want to eat the fruits and vegetables which will cause cancers to them because of the pesticide usages. Meeting international regulations for India, it's a long way for us to go. But if you are having a good mindset that we want to do a natural farming and integrated farming, it is possible. Just imagine before independence how our ancestors used to do farming. The only thing they had was neem oil and then cow cattle manure and being close to the nature, irrigation at the right time. Apart from this, did we had any time at that, whatever the so much of fertilizers and pesticides we are using, did we had those in those days? No. But still, they were able to produce so much sufficient quantity, it is enough for the nation. But in today, if you look into the pesticides and fertilizers that we are importing, I think India is on the top 10 list where the imports of the fertilizers is increasing year on year. Managing product recall. When something goes bad in the production or in the manufacturing, suppose if somebody has produced some product or a millet's powder, it has gone into the market as a health supplement. How do we recall? Do we have any technology or system in India where we can recall those producers? It's very difficult, isn't it? For India being such large country, vast nation with so much of mass diversification of population, product recall is very difficult. But we need to implement certain technology which will help us to recall the products. In Europe, they have come with a blockchain technology, in which case the barcode or of the RFID is enabled with the blockchain. In case if there is any issue with the product, they can trace back through which dealer or retailer it has gone through a consumer and who has purchased it, and through the blockchain technology there is a system they are establishing to recall the product. That is something which we have to learn from the European countries or Western countries, start implementing them in India. Of course, there are some companies, corporate sector, they are implementing, but it should come at a larger scale. Managing raising labor cost. Today, with so much of government schemes coming up, availability of labor has diminished. Maybe Karnataka or Andhra Pradesh, Telangana or Tamil Nadu, there are so many schemes government is providing, state government particularly, to see that they get this free ration and then a free pension and all of those things. These freebies are increasing every time I see elections coming up. So when these freebies are increasing, getting the laborers onto the fields is becoming a problem. Then how do we see that one? We go for a mechanization. We are going to explain in that one. There is a labor problem, how we are going to mitigate. Meeting changing consumer trends. With the advancement of the technology and the improvement of the life cycles, the choices for customers has increased. Earlier days, there were only certain products that were available for him. The choices were limited. But today with the global scenario, a person sitting in Bangalore through Amazon or Flipkart, he can order for the producers which is happening in Singapore or in Thailand, or we can even you can order materials from the US or UK. So in the technological world, consumer trends and their consumption patterns, behavioral patterns are changing. So how do we ensure that our value addition producers or our farm producers are able to meet the customer requirements? That is something, a new challenge that we need to look upon deeply. Managing food loss and wastages. 30 to 40% of the produce from the consumer before it reaches from the producer, before it reaches the end consumer, 30 to 40% is getting wasted in the logistics or in the damages or in any of the kinds. So that 30 to 40%, if you can minimize that into a 10% level, like rightly said by Dr. Venkata said, that whatever the minimization of the losses you are making, indirectly it becomes the profit for you. Yes or no? Agree? Whatever wastages you minimize or eliminate in the process, from starting from the producer to the consumer, that directly or indirectly becomes your profit revenues. Then ensuring supply chain visibility. Nowadays, everybody is working in a fragmentation. We need some system where we can collaborate all of them to see that there is a visibility from the producer, from the retailer, from the wholesale supplier and to the consumer. We need some systems to be developed where we can track the visibility of the produce, from where it is coming, how it is getting processed and who is consuming it. With the help of the technology, today all these things, challenges can be overcome. We shall look into one or two things, how modern technology can help you in agriculture. Mechanization of agriculture. There is a lot of startups who are into agri-techs. They have come up with the innovations, they have come up with the R&D implementations, they have come up with a lot of mechanizations where people can employ or deploy the technology in their respective fields, either during the course of the agriculture or during the farming or post-harvesting or on the warehouses. You can use mechanization of the agriculture. Then weather prediction through artificial intelligence. See, there are some sensors available which can easily tell you in the next 1 week what is the humidity you are going to have in that local particular area, or what is the temperature rise you can have, or is there any rain expected, so that it will give you an indication that if you want to do safeguard your farms well in advance, there is an opportunity that the technology provides to the farmer that yes, in another 3 days the rain is going to come. If you take some measures to protect your crop, yes, you can go for that one. Like that, it can also predict what is the humidity, what is the sunrise. So there are many applications of the AI that is being coming up in the agriculture sector. Resilient crops developed via use of biotechnology. Biotechnology is doing a wonderful job in India. Of course, the US is leading in many of the biotechnology, but we also see that genetically modified crops, in the experimentation, they are coming into the field implementation. And from the field implementation, getting into the commercialization. And through this genetically modified crops, lot of pest resistance, lot of this post-harvest things, increasing of the shelf lives, or the increasing of the yield of the efficiency of the producers, all these things are possible. India is in such a state where information technology and biotechnology can be integrated for the benefit of the farmers. And many of the segments, it has proven that the implementation of biotechnology with information technology is a successful thing for the farmers. Then we are seeing improving supply chain management using big data. Big data analysis is booming now in agriculture sector. When you see as a cluster, one district as a product, now Government of India has also come up with one district, one product. How did they come? Because for the over the years they have studied what this district, ambient temperature, climatic conditions, soils, and the skills of the workforce, what they are good at producing produce. So in that way they are able to identify what one product is capable in one district. So they have come up. How, if data is not available, then how do we come and say that one district, one product? Even in that matter of the produce level also, one agriculture field of 10 acres may be in one location, it cannot give a produce of every agriculture. Either you can go for horticulture, vegetables, fruits, or any of those things. But how you find out that one? It is through big data. Blockchain technology will help you in traceability. Blockchain technology is being extensively studied in today's world, where people can employ blockchain technology for traceability of their producers and products, and it mainly helps in the recall of the producers. People will get to know, sitting from here, if I click on the RFID or if I click on the barcode, I know from which field this has been produced. For example, Chikbalapur, which is our neighboring district, they grow grapes. If I want to know in which field this grape has been grown and from where it has traveled and how it has come to our consumers, with just a click of one button in the computer using blockchain technology or RFID, I'll get to know in which farm of the Chikbalapur this grape has been grown. To that extent, we can do a traceability of the agri producers. Then drones and robotics. Government is thinking on this one to use drones for spraying of fertilizers in the field so that human intervention with the chemicals is reduced. Application of drones in the fields, where as of today, human beings are using to spray the guns with the fertilizers, pesticides and all. They are having direct contacts with the chemicals, and many of the people are undergoing cancers because of that inhalation of the fumes. So drones can be helpful where it is hazardous for the human beings. And also robotics is coming in. The precision agri things, nowadays people are talking about precision agriculture and the precision processing. How it is possible? Because there are certain things which robots can do better than human beings, and they can do relentlessly. If you ask robot to function for 20 hours without rest, a robot can do, whereas humanly it is difficult. And there are certain precision engineering or precision agriculture process where robotic can do efficiently than the human beings. Application of robots in the agriculture, if you should look at Israel and Japan, how they are using these robots to see that they get a better producers in yields, and the human intervention with the chemicals is avoided or minimized. Then we also see IoT, that is nothing but Internet of Things. sitting at any place of the any corner of the globe, using the smartphones with the apps that are available, we can see that what is happening in our agricultural fields. There are a lot of agri apps that have been developed for the benefit of the farmers. But many of the farmers don't know, so it becomes our responsibility to educate our farmers on the usage of the apps so that sitting at his home, he can take a pic of the produce and send it to the scientist, ask for the remedies or the solutions. For example, any fungal attack has happened or any bacterial attack has happened on the fields. He just has to take a pic of the leaf or the fruit or the vegetable, send it to the app, through the app. They will get the solutions. And more than 80% of the solutions what they get is a recommended solution by any consultant or any agro-scientist. Because the people who are sitting there are the years of experienced people in the R&Ds who are giving the solutions for that one. And person sitting in Bangalore, he can send a request to a scientist sitting in Delhi. And a person sitting in Uttar Pradesh, he can send a request to the Tamil Nadu. Because everything is happening through apps and technologies. So life of the people becomes much easier. But farmers should utilize all the benefits, all the schemes, policies, technologies for the betterment of their lives and to get a good yield. And then cloud computing, this is an emerging field. Of course, in the software sector, it is already into the peak level, but in the agriculture sector, as of today in India, it is in a growing stage. Lot of agri-techs, startup companies, and even governments are giving initiatives on usage of cloud computing in agri-producers. So you can track your materials or your producers from where it is going. For example, grapes are being exported from Chikbalapur to United States. We can see that today the shipment is happening from Bangalore International Airport by air, and after 2 days it reaches Texas in USA, and then it gets to the distribution stores. From distribution stores it goes to the Walmart, and from Walmart it goes to the consumer end. So everything using a cloud computing, a farmer sitting in Chikbalapur can see that one. So there are many of the role of modern technologies available in agriculture, but due to a shortage of time, we are just limiting on certain applications only. If you have any questions, you are free to ask now, or at the end of the session also, panel discussion you can go through. So I thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really wonderful talk on that. Telling yesterday, the European market, most of the products are, I think, they're rejecting. For that, in that supply chain, you have to be taken care. And also, now smart packaging systems are also available. I think we just the package itself, we can insert some of the biosensors, chips. That chips it indicates it is the quality of the product. It is as per unfor standards or not. So like that, the many issues are also scientific paternity we have to work. And also already saw told IoT techniques. That is already in our institute, Nipam Tanjavur. We developed a one sensor that is the moisture sensor and also relativity sensor also. So we installed that sensor in different location in Batinda, Punjab, and then even Guwahati also, and then Assam also. And the 3-4 places we inserted. Normally it is a joint project with the Food Corporation of India. So we inserted sensor in different part of India, and then we are taking the reading from what is going on in that warehouse or silo. I think you may also the bulk storage. Sometimes FCI is storing tons of grains, so that which paddy is affected. I think what is going on inside the paddy storage, that we can based on the IoT techniques we can correlate, we can interpret, and we can check the quality of the product. For that we need like that sophisticated techniques for in that. Then we can check the blockchain technique also we can adopt in that. And then another one is in many industries, and also export protocols is also missing in supply chain. We have to, because the many important commodities we are growing in India, especially I think you may also aware, we cannot export all commodity of mango or banana, because we need some special varieties, because of that special protocols also required for what temperature you have to be transport, and what relativity you have to maintain, and then what is the pulp temperature of the food, and TSS content and color. The quality characteristics also you have to be studied. And also one more thing, lastly I will conclude.
then integrated supply chain, the integrated supply chain management you can adapt, you can reduce some more losses. I think the many industries, I think earlier, I think you may go back to 15, 20 years back, earlier they carrying all fruits and vegetables in gunny bags. Now somewhat they are improved, and then they are carrying in some crates, I think scientific way of for this one, carrying crates, and also nowadays, you know, they are at least they are even retail. If you go to retail store, they will store some of the commodities in cold chain. So because the cold chain is also one of the supplement to the our supply chain system, that otherwise we can reduce the wastages. Because of time constraints, I am going to conclude my session. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chidanand. Now the session open for the question. Audience, please we can ask the question. Anybody can ask the question. I request the volunteers to give the mic to the. Yeah, raise your hand. They will give the mic to you. Yeah, please. The student, I request the student to interact because getting a job is not so easy. The way in which I tell you very frankly, agriculture, I am taking example my produced by my own farm. A jaggery is selling at the rate of farmers will get a 20 rupees. The same jaggery in Bangalore costs you 60 rupees. That means middleman getting within the 2 months is getting 40 rupees margin. In Yugadi festival it is 80 rupees. I just checked all the shop in Bangalore. That was the cost of the jaggery, just to give one commodity. Even if you take an initiation, 2-3 members, you can make some company like the university is there to provide technology and other things. The government is providing a lot of money. Apart from LUB is there and also IMS Foundation that today they're conducting this conference or the workshop for you only, not for the others. So that is a way you can utilize these resources. It is actually, there are success stories also. You please visit our Agri Innovation Center, it is in Department of Biotechnology. We'll give a lot of information about you. Now open to the question. Sir, please, sir.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. So, good afternoon. I'm a PhD student here. You said about this question for Ramesh, sir. Sir said about that blockchain technology regarding traceability of the products. 2 years back, I have heard about the organic traceability because many of the customers have been deceived in organic food products. They say that the product is organic and they sell, but actually it is not. Many of the products are being sold like that only. So how can we use blockchain technology in organic traceability? And me, if I going to start this entrepreneurship by blockchain technology, from where can I leverage this technology, and what is the support that I can expect from the Agri Innovation Center, Bangalore?
It's a very good question, sir. Thank you. It is responsibility of a producer or a manufacturer to ensure the product reaches the customer without any tampering by any middleman to the straightaway consumer. I'll give you an example. If somebody is manufacturing a millet powder with a combination of 4 or 6 millet powders, his packaging should be such a foolproof that nobody can open the millet powder and misuse that one. It should reach from the factory. It should reach to the consumer without tamper-proof. That is the responsibility of a producer or a manufacturer to ensure that kind of packaging. That is number one. And number two, you asked about the technology. It is available in many parts, whether it is a government sector or in a private sector. In CFTRI, if you go, they are able to guide you what kind of technology is suitable for Indian scenarios. And there are institutions in Delhi also who are able to give you blockchain technology at a free of cost or with a nominal thing, especially for the FPOs and all, they are giving it a free of cost. So if you want to do at the commercialization levels, there is some license fee involved. On that one you can go. And coming into the universities kind of thing, so come up with a proposal and submit your proposal, how you want to use your technology for your entrepreneurship. So based on that, there are people who can guide you in the right direction. So if you say that if your packaging is in such that any middleman or a wholesaler or a trader can just remove the produce and replace that produce with some other product, that is the responsibility lies on you. And in India, customer has got every right to question either manufacturer or producer for a wrong product or the wrong nutritional value that has been given by the manufacturer. Thank you.
I'll just add one more point. There is a barcoding system. It is available. I'll give the address of the company. They will provide the technology for you. That actually the farmer's name, certificate, everything will be there. Just when you scan it, you'll get all the details. So that's why the system is available. You can contact me for the address and the details. I'll go over.
Again, you are welcome to the question answer session. Dr. Haran Kumar was referring about the jaggery. If anybody visits a jaggery making unit in Mandya, he will stop eating jaggery. I am sure, 100% sure, because the supply chain is so bad. They apply Nirma washing powder, industrial chemicals to get that white color, and 2 or 3 consignments of our exports were rejected and sent back to India. It is so unhygienic. What supply chain? Who supervised certification, accreditation, total chaos, Agri supply chain, and as far as the quality, and it is so bad, you will stop eating junk.
I think there's a manufacturing process. I have it from childhood, I know that. There are different way of manufacturing process. To get a color, they will add some chemicals, no doubt in that. There are organic form. If you want to just give all the farmers, they have FAOs, please we'll get all the good quality also. That is possible. It's not like a common, when we visited something, I think this is general procedure what you are telling. But there are farmers also produce organic chocolate. It means not the cane is not organic, it is only the chocolate. Okay, and there are units which are hygienic only, but when you give a good price, if you give a 40 rupees, they will manufacture in a good unit. I think today, in alumni session, we get an award to one of the farmers from Bidar. Yeah, he's from Bidar, I will get the details for you. You get the award from our alumni session. He's producing high quality jewelry with the steel only, the steel unit. It is possible, technology is available, only farmers not able to do because of the price. If you give a good price, I think they will. Thank you.
So basically, as I have already indicated, it is lack of enterprising, entrepreneurs. Not only jaggery, you name the product. The supply chain is so inefficient, lack of scientific handling, and finally, it is health hazard. Starting from production, or probably you might have seen ragi threshing on the roads in Kolar and Chikbalapur district. Actually, cars, buses moves on that, carrying all dirt, including human excreta. It will spread on the ragi, on the tar roads, and we will convert into ragi flour. So in the supply chain, particularly after post-harvesting, lot of things are there to be done, and we cannot export with this background. Export is only a dream, except naturally like coffee or say tea, cashew, where these kind of things are not there. Commodity specific, location specific, supply chain issues are involved, and until and unless we address to this, whether it is for local market or global market. In fact, domestic market is no inferior than global market. Our consumers are more enlightened today, more access to the information. As I already told, role of social media is such that any bad experience of the product quality or any other experience automatically spoil the brand image. So there is a need to address to these issues and bring it in the way it is required, and Food Safety and Standards Act, namesake, Food Safety and Standards Act is there. It is for the supply chain. So lot many things are there, and from business point of view, consumers point of view, profit point of view, technology, lot of things to be done, and I thank everybody for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts and opinions. Thank you, sir.
Just now open to questions.
Yeah, I want to add one thing. The student asked the applications of blockchain. So as a Tech Bharat, we got patent on blockchain technology. So by using smart contracts, we can solve your issue, my dear. Okay, smart contracts application is directly useful to your problem. Okay, and one more thing is cloud solutions. There are different cloud services provided by AWS and Azure. There are agri-tech solutions in that. Please explore AWS services and Azure services. If any help required in this, you can contact Tech Bharat team. Already we got two patents. One is in blockchain technology, one is in cloud computing area. So you can contact us. Please don't think about Agri Innovation Center in US. Already we collaborated with US Bangalore. We are ready to provide solutions to various issues you are facing. Okay? Please come to us with your issues, with your problems. We are ready to provide you the solutions. Okay? The student who asked this question, please claps to that student. Very good question, sir. Tech Bharat is ready to support you. Anytime you can tap our door. We are ready to help you. Harini Kumar, sir, this is what we can do from Tech Bharat side.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now open to others.
Can we take some more questions from the student community, please?
Yeah. If no more questions, I think we'll end the session. Please you be in touch with them. There are email contact and other things. This what sir said there is a processing or something. The involvement of graduates like you or educated people like you can be involved and do things.
Sir. Excuse me, sir. Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, myself Gautam. I am doing junior MSc in crop physiology, US, Bangalore. My question is, actually, when we are doing Rave in fourth year, I am an undergraduate student in US, Harvard. What happens is, we have it by COVID, we are able to do Rave in our own villages. In that Rave, what we actually faces is, in India, we can see our diversified country and the farmers are having only 1 acre, 2 acre land. When we compare to America, they are having major lands like 1,000 acres, 2,000 acres, 3,000 acres. The large farmers are major farmers having the good knowledge about agri supply chains, agri supply management, and they are aware to it, and they are know how government works, how policy works. They will avoid to that sector, and they know how to use it. But what it comes to the small farmers is they are not having awareness sector and have facing so much problems like middlemen. When a farmer is having holdings of 1 acre, 2 acre, they will produce the produce and he will sell to middlemen by not knowing all the supply chain management events. But as an agriculture graduate, how can we take the opportunity to give a piece of advice to the small farmers about supply chain management?
64% of Indian farmers' size of holding is less than 1 hectare.
Yes, sir.
Another 20% of the farmers have only between 1 to 2 hectares. Their marketable surplus is negligible. Either it is sold in their own village or at most they take it to the nearest weekly shanty. So addressing to their small farmers' issues in say applying good quality supply chain practices is through aggregating, consolidating the lots through collective marketing through like farmers producer company. I will quote a live example of Gulbarga, Tur Red Gram, the Hyderabad Karnataka Development Board, Tur Board, Marketing Board, Mairada joined together, formed a FPO, collected even half a quintal of red gram, stored, cleaned, graded, packed, stored in warehouse, waited for pledged to the bank, availed the loan, postponed the sales for 3 months, participated in online trading through NCDX spot exchange. The price realization was 50% higher than the regular sales. The farmers were benefited. The quality material was available to the dal millers. So as long as we don't create such institutions to help the small farmers to say address to the supply chain issues, we cannot achieve. This is the only way. And another best example is a farmer with half liter of milk is selling to the MPCS, milk producers cooperative societies. It is aggregated, sold through that, poured, cleaned, graded, packed, branded and sold. That is the only way to address to the small and marginal farmers, my dear student. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to add one more point. I think you may also aware how supply chain is developed in dairy sector, but why not in other sector? So because of Korean effect, cooperative effect, a very good supply chain is created for dairy. So like that we can create in other our agri systems also.